Hello and welcome to an exclusive interview with Jason Ulitian, the Vice President of Product Management at Ping Identity. With over 15 years of expertise in product management and leadership, Jason has been instrumental in crafting innovative enterprise solutions. His deep knowledge spans cloud identity and access management, enterprise mobile solutions, and agile process optimization. At Ping Identity, Jason leads the charge in developing cutting edge cloud services that simplify complex enterprise challenges. Beyond his technical acumen, he excels in shaping product strategies and roadmap that drive growth and customer success. Join us as we delve into his insights on the evolving landscape of identity and access management and learn about his journey as a product leader. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So we'll get started talking about your role at Ping Identity. So if you would just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role at the company.
Yeah, happy to. I've been at Ping for a little over 5 years, and what I focus on at Ping is our cloud services, bringing innovative cloud services to the market and making sure they work for the most complex organization. And at Ping, we're really focused on identity security and making sure. One of the things we like to say is we make sure that your company doesn't get in the headlines because of your identity leakage or identity information getting out. So I've been at Ping, like I said, for a little over 5 years. I've been in the identity space for over 10 and been in enterprise software for well over 20 years.
That's excellent. So, what are some of your key predictions for how digital security identity management will evolve in 2025?
Well, in 2025, as in 2024, we really have to start looking at the impacts of AI for good and AI for evil as we talk about it. And that's really leading us to a trust nothing, verify everything landscape, where we have to really think about the experience we can create in reducing sophisticated fraud as AI just 10x the way fraud can be exploited. People can be exploited with fraud. And part of what we're seeing there is this concept of digital wallets and the convergence of basic authentication. If you think of authentication as like sending you an SMS, maybe as a typical historical one that people have used. When you converge that with, I need to know who the actual human is, which we call identity verification, and digital credentials, where you can store that on your wallet in a trusted way, on a local wallet in your phone in a trusted way. We see that all really accelerating in 2025 with the emerging threat landscape.
Those are some key insights right there. And because you talk about authentication, my next question aligns to it. So, how do you foresee the adoption of passwordless authentication growing over the next year?
Yeah, so passwordless is something we've been talking about in this industry for 10 years. I really think that with in the last couple of years where passkeys got introduced and now are getting adopted, when you think about the systems you log into as a consumer, the ones that I see more and more are giving you either that option or by default not having you create a password. So it's really, really, when we look at passwordless on a consumer level, I think we are actually reaching a tipping point where it's possible by the end of 2025, you'll have less passwords that you need to remember than you have today. And that'd be the first time in many, many years for any of us to be able to say that. And that extends also to the workplace where passwordless solutions are becoming more viable. And part of that is because we want to tie the online identity to that real person through a digital driver's license, et cetera, those kinds of technologies. So we're really excited about finally realizing at least the beginning of the promise of what passwordless has been talked about for so long.
That sounds very promising as also. So, what are some emerging cybersecurity threats that organizations should prepare for in 2025? And also, how will Ping Identity help address these challenges for them?
Yeah, so as I mentioned at the top, AI is driving a whole acceleration in threat vectors. Phishing is getting smarter. Voice or video impersonations are becoming a real thing, and you're seeing headlines where either a video impersonation or a voice impersonation of maybe your CEO at your company asking you to do something strange with money transfers, right? They're really working, and we're seeing that threat landscape just exploding all the way, and AI is core to that, but all the way through like the phishing emails you do get or the phishing texts, which I see more of than I do emails anymore because the email servers are getting better at weeding some of that out. But in text, the language, the way they can appear to become, what they can appear to come across as is more and more legit sounding. Where I think, 5 or more years ago, you could kind of make out, oh, like it was like somebody didn't have very good grammar for as a basic thing, and you're like, well, that probably didn't really come from FedEx or whatever company it is. Um, what we see now is like all that can be fixed very quickly with AI. So like everything, the legitimacy is harder and harder to determine. Um, and so I think that's a big challenge for us. So we're doing a few different things. We have a couple of key products. We do have sort of bot, account takeover, and threat protection services, and our identity verification and credentialing services are all geared towards these kinds of threats, allowing us to be in a good position to try to keep up with our adversaries in protecting the identities that for those that entrust us with them. So we think we're in a good place, but we also feel like we need to run as fast as possible to keep up with the emerging threats.
That's fantastic. We'll touch a little bit upon customer satisfaction and retention now. So, how do you predict customer expectations around identity protection will change in 2025 now?
Yeah, I think the first thing is people just want to assume they're protected. And for those who pay less attention than us in the industry, like maybe they're not even thinking about whether how safe something is or isn't. And I think there's some good news in this space is we are seeing more broad acceptance of sort of transparent protection. When we talk about some threat protection services, we can do a lot transparently to figure out if that was a bot or there's an account takeover attack happening on your account or other kinds of threats. And the fact that people are sort of accepting those transparent things more often than maybe in the past, where they're like, I need to feel like I'm entering my password because it makes me feel secure. We're seeing a little bit of a trend away from that. And part of it is like replacing things like where like identify all the motorcycles when you log in to make sure you're not a robot. And the fact that we can do that transparently now. Like people are starting to accept that. And I think that's a really good thing from a user experience perspective because what our customers want is to reduce friction and ensure high security at the same time. So we're prioritizing that trust building and enabling this effortless access, right, with these heightened expectations where people are like, there's more protections or there's more threats at me. I need to know there's more protections in some way, but still don't add friction. And so that's the challenge we're up to.
That's superb. And throughout the conversation, we've touched a little bit here and there on AI. So my next question aligns with it. So, what role does identity play in building trust between businesses and their customers, especially in the era of AI?
Yeah, I think that without securing your identities, you can't have trust. There is no trust between the organization and their customers because it is foundational. There's a lot of ways to get into a company and a lot of threats across the landscape, but identity really is foundational and especially in where we think customers need to be now is trust nothing. And certainly, AI blurs the line of what's authentic, what's not, and so they need more than just video, even video trust like this. Like we've done a bunch of exercises to impersonate what would happen if there's a Zoom or a video, any sort of face call. AI attack where you definitely could impersonate someone, right? So it's not. So how do we stop that? What do we do about that? How do I know, that how do you know that I'm really Jason and not, an impersonator? Because the technology is so good to do that impersonation now. So understanding that identity verification, verifying the real human to the online persona becomes really critical in that entire AI landscape.
That's great. We'll talk a little bit upon the future, and I would really like to have a sneak peek upon about 2025. So, how will
Mhm.
Ping Identity continue to innovate and stay ahead of the fast evolving threat landscape in 2025?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that key investment areas that I talk about related to this. First is our AI platform in Ping called Helix, which we just announced within the last few weeks, is our intelligent platform that can look to leverage large language models from wherever they come from, no matter which large language models you want to use, and the data and isolate that from the data in your environment, but still let them use together so that we can create more intelligent solutions in protecting you. We want to be able to tell you about your implementation and help you understand what the threats might be based on how you've implemented our software. Because it's not just about the services we offer, but it's how you implement them and adapt them to make sure they create that frictionless experience at high security. So we think AI can be a real enabler there in that protection. The other thing we are investing in is this convergence of the ID verification, like tying the human to like a government issued ID and a selfie and those kinds of things, tying that to the authentication experience. So when you really need high verification, high validation that the human is the person they claim to be online, we can marry all those experiences together and create higher security and less friction.
That sounds ambitious. So, Jason, this brings us to the end of the interview. But is there anything that you'd like to add?
I just like to thank you again for this opportunity. And there's a lot of challenge in front of us. We talked a lot about AI for evil, and there's also AI for good. And we think that there is a great opportunity for us to become more secure and make it easier on all the people using the systems at the same time. We think those things go hand in hand, and it doesn't have to be a security or experience trade-off. So really excited about the future.
That's fabulous. So this brings us to the end of the interview. So I just want to thank you for your time and efforts for answering this question. It's been an absolute honor talking to you. I think Ping Identity is definitely a pioneer in the industry of identity management, and I hope that you continue to grow and reach new heights every day. So
I
thank you
appreciate
so,
it.
yeah. So thank you so much for your time, Jason, and have a great day ahead as well.
Thank you, you too.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.